you have so much more better capability that is now being used. The question it has to be used. You know, having knowledge is one. Right. Application of knowledge is where fruits are created.
Interestingly, there, I mean, school have counselors and have adopted psychometric testing at a very,
yes,
you know, it's actually very prevalent now. A lot of organizations are doing that at the recruiting end, at the development end, and schools are doing it at, you know, actually telling a young boy whose father is telling him engineering is good for you, telling him maybe MBAs, and that's the right fit for you, and that's the direction you will take in life. So do you want even academia at a senior level, maybe having some exposure on the assessment side so that they have scores that they provide to you, that these people are actually, you know, more temperamentally better, can be better leaders, can manage teams better? Is that something that there is still a gap on?
You know, he spoke about very nicely about this cognitive, non-cognitive stuff. He talked about multitasking, teamwork. That's our experience in Maruti also. Gap is on the non-cognitive soft skill side. Gap is 3D thinking. It is not there. In our case in Maruti, one guy has to understand at the fresh entry level, in case of this being an all-rounder guy who reads newspapers, that if there is this rupee fluctuation which is happening right now, you slip by 1 rupee and I slip by 21 crores of what I pay every year to Japan in terms of yen. That much commonsensical basic understanding of the environment that does not require a very acute financial management perspective. But a guy, that's how at the moment we train. But I think what initially Rajiv raised this point, perhaps this could be the shift in the education system, so that that much industry ready effort comes in from the academy.
Actually, and Shivani, the issue is that let's not, you know, in counting trees lose the sight of the forest. What is happening is that we're getting into the details of recruitment and kind of, you know, absorption and retention. Let's not lose sight of the issue that we have at stake, in fact, creating the talent pool for the future. Now, what is this talent pool? So beautifully expressed that, you know, the talent pool is not necessarily having a bias of industry. You know, what we are talking about generally in such conferences, we tend to talk about absorbing capacity of the industry. But let's see, economy is not just industry. There are different levels of, you know, development, and there are different sectors, and there are certain populations which we are leaving out. If I see the challenge, and Mr. Siddiqui, I think you rightly said, the crisis may not have come as yet, you know, but the crisis is yet to come. The point is that by 2025, we'll be requiring, there'll be a skill requirement of 500 million people. Now, 500 million people is twice the population of the US and Europe. Now, individually, of course, not collectively. That is the gap that we have to address, and we don't have a capacity of more than 35 million people getting into this scenario every year. So even if we do it for the next 7 years, we'll be addressing not less than half of it. That is the issue. So what we need to also do is that get out of this, you know, academia also need to be kind of, you know, get out of the clutches of it being kind of, you know, just under the pressure of producing people for the industry. There is an agricultural sector, there is agroeconomic, you know, there are viable modes of, you know, occupations which people can see through.
And what guarantee will you give those people if they are job ready for your particular sector or your particular industry? What guarantee do you give them that you will hire them?
I mean, when we are born, none of us are given guarantee that life would be fair.
No, but considering that they, you know, they are required to be put through this much training, it's more like a professional course where, you know, you want them to be job ready by the time they come out.
See, professional courses are fine, but the generic pattern of education, it should train you for so many things. Now, today, in the futuristic environment, basically, the two traits that will be required, very important, would be innovative and an entrepreneurial, you know, bent of mind, where people can choose, have choices. People have started having choices nowadays. So it's not that, you know, you get too much into the routine kind of stuff that, yes, this is super specialization. That's in fact a problem of our education system, because we get to be so super specialized that, you know, from the very beginning, everybody starts saying that you start getting focused to certain one or two aspects of life. What happens in the process that our thinking becomes focused. Focus should be a matter of approach in our whole education system. Focus should not be in our thinking. It has to be open-ended. It has to be beyond boundaries. It has to, you know, think about orbital planes beyond the normal ones that we have. So that is the pattern. If unless and until it emerges, 500 million skilled workforce is not going to come out from a jiffy. It has to be, you know, people have to, the pattern of employment has to change. The industry has to change, and it's, you know, getting paranoid about recruiting people only from the campuses. Well, we can recruit people, ladies particularly, you know, women folk. They are left out once they are kind of, the family way. They kind of a career comes to have almost at an end, unless one is very highly skilled. The point is that we should have those touch points where we can absorb those people, say 30, 35 years. Post that, if we have a provision that we can absorb them in a more gainful way, I think that is the way we are going to address the problem. Otherwise, we keep discussing about these small problems about recruitment, hiring, our process at campus going right or wrong, but we'll never be addressing the macro, the crisis at the macro level. Right. Micro level, maybe we can address these issues by improvements here and there, but holistically we have to change. It's a transformation of a different order. It's almost transcendental in respect
so when
of the
you're
challenge.
talking about holistic change, then I mean, are you looking at, if you're keeping up with the times, then a change in curriculum, who sets the curriculum, is the industry involved from that very point, screening students when they come in for admission?
We talked about this earlier also, and I talked about a structured institutionalized approach. Now I give you one concrete example. National HRD network, and currently I am involved leading that network, about 30 chapters pan India. We did 7 years back, an understanding MOU with Management Development Institute, Gurgaon. We restructured their postgraduate program, MBA in HR. It was a hot sellout subsequently till date. It also involved mentoring by senior HR professionals. Now Ranchi has done the same, and now we have introduced a concept of national professor that will be helping these schools across the country on this one. This is one structured effort. Maybe 5, 7, 10 years down the line, it may produce some desirable results. I said a roadmap. Nothing can be happening overnight. I learned this concept from Australia. There, the human resource organizations, all officers rather, all directors, they have formed a kind of a association called RE, Australian Human Resource Institute. RE will certify any such program, any such training delivery, any such consulting work in HR. Unless RE certifies, nothing moves. So again, there is a content and a kind of a capability assured standard as Nishchay talked about, and it is known that this is the route for delivering quality. I think India will have to follow some such this thing, but I fully agree with Rajiv. I think we should not get into this micro perspective, which in any case life is fine, and I'm telling you right now, but macro is where the problem is. I think you talked about, Deepak, about this jobs. You were saying there are not jobs. I am telling you the actual fact is we are 13.5 million in auto component today. 2016-17 as per Government of India, plan, AMP plan, we are going to need 35 million. As he rightly said, unless you do at macro level, so we are doing 21 ITIs and polytechnics and teachers training today. We'll be doing another 29 maybe in next 2 years, so we do 50. I sincerely hope Mahindra, others, this and that will also do 30, 40, 50, 60. There are total roughly about 2026 government ITIs in the country, 1500 in the offing to be set up. Those which are being set up, I think we can take straight away. Please don't make that effort. We will set it up as per our needs. But look at the macro perspective of creating talent in India. Now, one interesting quick thing I share with you. In our recent suppliers conference, and we invited Mr. Arun Puri from Business India Today to really address the suppliers. And for 1 hour, he was supposed to talk. So 55 minutes he talked all negatives of all parties and all crises and every damn thing, and this was in Hong Kong. 55 minutes we were listening to this negative talk about our country, everything negative, every party negative. Then I was thinking what exactly is going to happen to this country. He says, but last 5 minutes, he says, but still we are growing at 5%. That's the tremendous potential of this country. So if it is 5% today, in spite of being everything bad, if it inches to 6, 7, 7.5, then we require that talent pool for our country to exploit this to the best of our opportunities. To a great extent, China, though politically designed separately, is a brilliant model for us to look at. And we have had this opportunity of studying business in China, so we spent some time there, met people. Honestly, to a great extent, a country which was absolutely devoid of skill is now having capability for mass production, cheap quality, mass production, medium quality, and mass production, advanced, high quality.
But how much is the industry really willing to invest in that? Because you make a bad decision in campus recruitment and you have figures that, oh my God, we've made this. Academia putting in that sort of an investment when they have to make sure that the students are exposed to real life situations. They need to be aware of the processes, the technology, the machines, tools that are involved in. Abhay, I want you to come in here. Are you willing to allow students to come and get access to all these processes, say in your factory, and take these internships seriously?
Industry and academia, both have to go hand to hand. Without that, we will be just talking, these kind of conferences will keep on going. I've been doing it for last 2 years, maybe we'll continue doing it for next 5 years, I don't know. But until and unless, and the partnership has to be from both the sides. We have basically broadly 2 gaps, if we talk. One is demand versus supply. Second is employment versus employability. So gap are at both the sides. Academia has to understand that what are the need of the industry today. Like a lot of new industries have come up, retail, telecom, Deepak was telling about the infrastructure. Everywhere we need talent. Now, this talent academia has to take the step forward. They have to understand from the industry. They have to design curriculum according to the industry needs and come forward. The second part is employment versus employability. The quality of education, like lot of data, and we keep on reading, and as a HR person, we get shocked when we read that 80% or 85% people are coming out of the engineering and MBA colleges are not employable. Now, that is something, a very big gap where, again, academia has to take a lead, go to the industry, understand that what are the needs, how can they become more employable. This softer part also and technical part also. The need of the industry, which has to be captured into the syllabus, proper interaction, maybe through summer trainees, maybe through the projects involvement. There are a lot of projects in the industry where we are really looking for the resources. Now, institution can come forward, we become partner in the project, help them out. Students will get the knowledge about the project, they will get some skills, they will get some knowledge, and industry will also get benefit, and this is how the engagement between the industry and academia can go long forward. Because every industry is doing a business, they will not do anything until they see some profitability or some social responsibility. Maybe a lot of businesses will come forward, will do it for the social responsibility, but that is up to a limit. Beyond that, we have to look as a business. So,
let me raise two points, I think, which are provocative in a sense, but I'd still make them. One is the ability to embrace change by institutes, which is as simple as changing the curriculum and updating it every year. And I think there is a unwillingness and reluctance in many parts to do so.
Do you see that among private institutions as well? Because I guess that's more
not
of
as much, not as much.
Yeah, as much as in the government.
Not as much, but clearly there is still some. It's just the ability. It may not be intent per se, but it's just the ability to keep pace with the requirements that are ever changing. Second, business is busyness. And clearly for industry to invest time with the institutes and the academia itself is a big challenge. Now, I founded a leadership school and a business school, so I understand the challenges of both the industry and academia and try and balance both perspectives. One is time is people that are successful have very little time. And those are the individuals that probably know what needs to be built for the future. And they're not being able to spend that time in helping institutes align their curricula for the future. On the other hand, academicians have a chip on the shoulder and in many ways are reluctant to be driven by what are the needs of, as stated by industry. They believe certain standards still need to be maintained irrespective of what happens around you. And therefore, they will still continue with a curriculum that probably is dated. Now, spoke of innovation, right, being the need for the future. And the conference board surveyed 775 CEOs. Innovation was one of the key priorities. Look at all the business schools today in the country and see how many of them have built a program around creativity and innovation as part of their curriculum.
Nishchay, in fact, just to give a data, one of the IMs, I'll not name it, it's so well known. The point is that I was a part of that core curriculum change committee there. And it came out that creativity was a full credit course. and it had existed for the last 20 years, and only 16 students, you understand probably which institute I am referring to, had opted for. So the point is that it's not only the academic institutes also have a responsibility, not to just subserve the need of the industry or the what works, but there should also be institutions of telling what should be working in fact, and therefore they should be working around the need of the hour.
Absolutely.
Creativity and innovation are not going to come unless and until there's a structured mechanism to let them happen.
Right, Mr.
There has to be
Shastri,
organizational changes.
People are saying that in
I am a mix of both. I will
resistance.
tell you what are the challenges you are facing. Industry is nothing but corporation. Corporations are nothing but individuals running their own business. Everybody want money. So they want industry ready skill. Whatever you talk on this table, the moment you go immediately get 10 times he is looking at the SMS, how many, whether I am missing business or not. This may be operations head. Right? So what is there is that you want money, industry want money from day one. So they wanted the resources, they wanted the ready-made food available should be. If you go to even a 5-star hotel to order for a dal makhani, he will take 1 hour to deliver to you. He will ask what are the nourishing is needed to be given. Right? Then the expectation from definitely what you want should be known, which shop you are going, what you want to buy. So they wanted everything should be ready-made like burger they want like burger kind of requirement they are expecting that. So when industry wanted ready-made, deployable, suppose our friend is from Lanco and Fry, his project has to start, there are a lot of challenges, he wanted the resources. Where is a boss, मेरा काम जल्दी काम करने वाले बंदे को दो ना यार मेरे को training करने के मेरे पास time ही नहीं है. So what happens is that they wanted trained, skilled resource. Where from he'll get? He'll drop from the sky. So then whatever our friend is telling about technology, skill set and all high flying words. What I am trying to say is that industry is nothing but group of companies. So industry associations are taking up this challenge because academia, as my friend is also telling, he commented on one of the business school. Whatever the business school he is having in his own mind. So, you also came from business school only. How much you have contributed back to the business school, you also search. So, when you come out to the CEO or CFO, you don't want to go back to the school and give a lecture here. What are you talking about? You want to contribute, I want the industry, you are in industry, will you go back to your school and give the lecture?
So how do we find a middle ground when
what
it
I am
comes
saying
to this?
is that when you
I
wanted
think one
the industry and
perspective
academia
is
have to
very
come
critical
forward.
at this point of
Let me
time.
complete. Let me complete. If you want an industry academy to complete means somebody should come middle path. Middle path ke liye there are organizations, industry associations are taking forward. If you see, FICCI is taking a national knowledge hub, which is a combination of both industry and academia. A set of companies has been identified, set of institutions has been identified. So that is the way the talent pool is being developed. In the similar line, CII Educational Forum is also there, they are also developing up. If you ask my friend from Lanco or my friend from Jindal, they won't come. If they come through industry association, he may send his representative on behalf of him. So that some kind of activity he is also got involved. So it is a collective responsibility. Academia is coming forward, academia wanted the latest subject. You must tell no what you want. When academia is calling for industrial lectures, for the guest lectures, they must come, welcome and tell what are happening. You must